Hi, I'm Larry Donahue. I've been a corporate IP and business lawyer for the past 30 years. I'm here to talk about foreign ownership of anonymous structures. So what is an anonymous structure? I've done previous videos about this. Basically, it's very quickly where ownership information is not available on the internet. And to do that, it typically depends on the state you're doing business in. Even if you're on the internet, you're going to have a base of operations somewhere, whether it's Texas, New York, Florida, Illinois, whatever, California. So those states have different ways of being anonymous. Typically in almost all states, other than California, you have an operating entity and nobody owns it. There is a ownership company, a holding company, if you will, parent company that owns the operating entity. That ownership company is owned by one or more individuals. And this ownership company, this parent company is an anonymous entity, typically in Delaware, Wyoming, or New Mexico. I typically favor Wyoming for a lot of reasons, but we won't go into that. What does this have to do with foreign ownership? Well, the answer is no problem. You can have foreign owners owning the parent company and therefore being anonymous in the United States. Now, I did do a previous video about tax issues. If the parent company is going to be taxed under Subchapter S, you're going to have a problem. So that's not going to work. Typically what you're going to have is you're going to have the owners at the top. They're going to own the parent company. It's going to be taxed. It's going to be an LLC, by the way, in New Mexico, Delaware, or Wyoming. If you're going to have multiple owners, I'd recommend Wyoming. And it's going to be taxed as a partnership or a C corporation, not an S corporation. That's how you're going to pull this off for foreign owners. And then this parent company is going to own the operating entity. The operating entity is going to be taxed as a disregarded entity, typically. You can do it the other way around, but it adds complexities. Talk to a tax professional or a CPA. But that's typically how it works. Now you're asking, well, wait a minute, there's what's called the Beneficial Ownership Information Report that you have to submit with FinCEN, fincen.gov. And the answer is, at least under the Trump administration, and this video is produced in 2025, so we got another three or so years to deal with this. Trump has said if it's a domestic U.S. entity, it doesn't have to report at all. You only have to report foreign-based entities doing business in the United States. That is not an anonymous structure created in the United States. That's a domestic entity. It does not have to report beneficial ownership information. But even if you did, that information is confidential and it's not going to be on the internet anyway. So a foreign national can do business in the U.S.